All right, next is from Greg Treeville, and the subject is Gisele Shaw. To answer Disco's question, yes, people only listen to this podcast because you're the only actual wrestlers that have a podcast and keep it 100. Best podcast available.
There you
I
go.
was watching Impact and was shocked about. Oh, do you see? I put a tweet up the other day. It's getting me some traction here because bro, I was just going through all these idiots. And there's so many goofs on that have podcasts, Mark podcasts and
Right.
Dirt Sheet guys,
Right.
and that are just throwing shade at The Rock's appearance. I'm
Oh
like, what
yeah.
on
What?
earth are you people like? Yeah, it's just you just go and there's enough of them. I'm like, these people are just. Why do people listen to these people? Like these are grifters, like just trying to, they're not in the business. They're not, and there's, I don't know, and they sound like idiots. So I just whatever.
I was
So
gonna
back to
say
this.
the first question about getting blown up in the ring. I saw a lot of that on Twitter about The Rock. Oh, did you see how blown up he got? So blown up,
Oh, good grief!
which is like,
Who gives a shit, bro? He's out there expending energy. You'd be blown up too, bro.
You
I'm
can't.
telling you. When I said promos take, you're not just out there. You're feeding off the energy. You're throwing out energy. You have to remember your lines. You got to think on your feet. You're nervous. The adrenaline is up. It's a whole different world, bro. You go up there and you do that. No,
All
I'm
right. So next,
serious.
no,
right.
I know, no, it's not my opinion. I'm just saying that on Twitter you'd see a lot of it.
The Disco said they sounded like idiots. They sound like what they are, marks.
Right.
There's no promoter in the world. There's no business person in the world that wouldn't say, "Yeah, I'd love to have The Rock on for 20 minutes just ad libbing." He don't do
Right.
that nowhere else.
Uh.
Yeah,
So the continue the email. I was watching Impact. Was shocked about how pushed Gisele Shaw was. She's booked as one of the top female wrestlers on the show, despite being very green and awful on the mic. I understand part of the reason she's getting pushed is because she's a trans woman, and now a big thing in wrestling with Nyla Rose and Sonny Kiss. I know you guys are friends with Scott D'Amore. Do you think Giselle Shaw is just getting pushed because she's dating the boss? They've been very open with their relationship, and I can't see another reason she is getting pushed. I wonder if you had any interaction or heard any stories of the Rick Steiner incident, and that's in Greg the Tree Man in Danville, Pennsylvania.
the
Yeah, she is
Tree
dating
Man.
Greg the Tree Man from Danville.
Okay, when I get back to my seat, I'm gonna
Well, his name
do
is
that.
Greg Treeville. So that's
Okay,
maybe that right. Okay, yeah.
Oh, I
All
thought
right.
Tree
in
Man
this.
either meant he smoked a lot of blunts or that he
No,
like was
no.
one of
His
those
name is
tree groomer guys. Yeah.
right. His
No,
name is Greg
I thought
Treeville. So his
when
yeah,
I
he
heard
calls
that, I thought
Tree.
he was shared a treehouse with him, Hughley, and Chris Mason from
I
TikTok.
I
Shadow.
haven't
Stop.
I haven't I haven't been watching Impact, so I can't really comment on this. But
Yeah, I watch
you know,
every
he
Impact.
okay. So he's dating her, and she's getting
Right,
pushed. Okay,
Hmm.
so
right.
that's how I mean, you know, that is what it is. Have you watched what's your take on her?
He's in a catch 22. Well, she's all right. She's nothing out of the ordinary. She's not bad, you know.
Right.
She's like has like a little trio with her, like this other guy that he's like. I'm not sure. I'm gonna say homosexual. Is that even a thing anymore? Or is there another
Yeah,
word for that?
I think you
Okay,
can say that.
all right.
Okay.
So that's what he looks like or comes off as, and some other person that's with her. And yeah, they take care of her. They don't overdo it like Britt Baker. But he's in a catch 22 because okay, if we keep it a secret and people find out, it's gonna look worse. If we come out and people are gonna think I have preferential treatment for you because I've been in that situation when people like Rey Mysterio and Pentagon and Phoenix. Oh, he's the booker. He's taking care of his boys. Guess what? The guys that are my boys happen to be the best in the business. That's kind of like why I picked them. So yeah, I'm gonna keep pushing them.
Well,
You know what I'm
here's a
saying?
question. Here's the question. Do they make do is their relationship on the show a storyline?
No, they don't have a relationship on the show
Oh,
Right.
that I know of. Yeah,
well,
they don't interact. They don't
honestly,
interact.
if everybody knows this, that is an
Yeah,
interesting
why
thing.
don't you do something? Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right, yeah, right, yeah,
when
right.
people are dying for reality television and wrestling, there's so many missed opportunities at real things that happen that you can put on TV. And it's just that's it's just missed
You
opportunity after
make
missed
it.
opportunity after missed opportunity in professional wrestling. You know,
You make a great point because I've always said this, and I'm just talking about Mexico. I'm not even talking about the United States. If we were to do a behind the scenes look and have a reality TV show or a special or something like that, the ratings would go through the roof. But I don't think anybody would ever bring anybody to the shows again because if they found out how wild and weird and off the wild wrestlers really are and what we do on the road, they'd be like, I don't, I don't want
Right.
anything to have to do with these guys, these people with families. But anyways, but yeah, the best stories are what story could be better right now in Impact, right? Because they're gonna bring in this guy. They're making a big deal. They're bringing for like 2 dates, and he is good. What's his name? The British guy, uh, that just fought in
Saber,
London. No, the
Saber
other
Jr.
one,
or Will Ospreay.
Osprey, right?
Okay, right.
And so they're bringing for like 2 matches, and he'll come in. He'll probably have 2 great matches with two of their better workers, and that's it. But what's a better storyline? Hey, the boss is dating one of the girls, right? Who gives a shit if it's trans or not? He's dating one of the girls. Other girls are jealous because they perceive he's giving him a push. And
Yeah.
Right.
now what I'm.
How
That's a
easy is
great
that TV to
storyline in
write?
itself, right?
How easy is the TV to write?
Right,
Yeah.
It's like
right.
right.
And plus,
Yeah.
they
Right,
just did the one.
I'm sorry. Just let me just say
No,
one
you're fine.
thing,
You're fine.
Joe.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
just like the Punk thing, I just was always like, hey, what if he rolled up with the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks turned on, Kenny Omega and Jericho, and now he's with the Young Bucks, bro. That's a bloodline type storyline because these guys have been friends for a long time and interacted. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. I was gonna say
I'll say
they
this
just
too.
had the just real quick there. They just had the 1,000th Impact, right? And so
Right,
a lot of stars were coming back. Velvet and Angelina Love came back. The Beautiful People.
right,
So you could do
right.
something like the Beautiful People go into Damore's office to see what they're doing on the show for the big reunion, and Damore's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. There's no space on the show for the Beautiful People because there's all this." And then they'll look at the schedule or the booking sheet or whatever and go, "Well, it looks like Gisele Shaw's in 3-4 segments here. Why is that? Is that because you're dating her? Do something like that where she takes time
Right.
from the other
Well, I'd
girls."
like to say that in
Well,
the
there's a million.
5 or 6
Right.
years you've been doing this with us and giving out booking ideas, which 99.9% were terrible, that might be the first good one.
But I will say
Getting
You're
better.
getting
this
kazooed.
as
Yeah.
bro, like Tony Khan has missed, like a lot of these
Yeah,
opportunities
a
to
lot, a
turn.
lot.
Because here's the thing, bro, Eric and Vince Russo, okay, both were very willing to capitalize on real life heat. Eric, him and Ric Flair, they turned it into
And
business and capitalized
Vince.
on.
And
And Vince,
Vince.
of course, Vince took the Brett, did like a lot of things that were real. Bro,
Right.
he took, bro,
Because that's the
it's like,
smartest thing to
yeah,
do.
right. And it's like the funny thing is like, Tony Khan was,
It's,
I'm not,
because you know why it's the smartest thing to do? Because it's already written
right,
itself.
right.
All you got to do is add elements of suspense and drama, and that's it.
But here's an interesting thing I want to ask Eric about. Joe, remind me to bring this up, okay? Because it's very interesting that Tony Khan has made comments in the past that he's not going to make the same mistakes that WCW made. It's like, dude, you maybe not making the same mistakes, but you're not capitalizing on the exact same opportunities that are being fed to you that create a big business. So you're the one making the mistakes. You're not when real stuff that generates buzz that gets people that haven't been watching wrestling and they hear some serious stuff's going on, they're tuning in and want to see if you're going to turn this into something on TV. You're missing all these opportunities because they usually and almost always generate business. So I don't know. It's like so I would tell Demore, turn that into your storyline.
Right.
You've got an opportunity that
And
we've seen in the past. This formula works. You're for a fledgling. I don't want to say fledgling company, but you're not doing good number, bro. This might increase your business. So whatever. I don't know.
yeah, and imagine, bro, if on the side, uh, Scott had like a side piece, like a
Right.
Southern Belle, like a
She's jealous of him. Like why
Gilberté.
why
Yeah,
why are you treating jealousy
right.
and stuff?
But
There's a million things you can do.
nothing on the Glenda
Right. Yeah.
Gilberté. So would you be against like being the side chick? That's all I want to know
It's
for
very
Scott
disrespectful.
D'Amore.
It's very
Okay.
disrespectful. Okay, next is from some Ganda Chanko, and the subject is Wardlow and the Fed. Good day, K100 Crews. You already know it's been reported that Jade Cargill's headed WWE. I think that the person they should be looking at is Wardlow. I think Wardlow is a talented guy, looks great, has great aura to him. However, AEW has failed him on multiple occasions, and I would like to see him on NXT with Shawn Michaels booking him like Braun Breaker, just killing people and actually developing. The system is starting to churn out some real main event talent. But what say you? Do you think there's value in Wardlow in WWE? Do you think it's still possible to revive his willing wilting career. Side note: Wardlow is 35 years old. Bro, we talked about. Does this guy listen to the show, or is he just fast forward to listen to his
He
emails?
listens.
We talked
I
about.
mean, he's a frequent emailer and also.
Wait a minute. This guy, he's the guy that just wrote. His name sounds familiar. He writes in here a lot.
I know.
Yeah,
We
and
talk
he's
about
been suspended before too.
How Wardlow is being misused in AEW and tailor made for the WWE, and they make a star out of him. We said that repeatedly. Next is from Easy Money.
And this guy, let me just say, this guy is right. They are churning out some real main event talent, and I wouldn't mind, instead of booking him like Braun Breaker, just bringing in him against Braun Breaker. And bro, it doesn't matter if you're 35 or 45. If you got talent, you got talent. Age is, that's all.
I saw some clips. Somebody put on Twitter a clip from a house show of Tiffany Stratton go wrestling Becky. Bro, they were doing some really good there.
Yeah, she's.
I was like, wow, it's like she's very athletic. That girl, like, she looks like
she's got a good look. Yeah, and she does like a moonsault for a finish.
Yeah. Next from Easy Money, subject is WCW One Night. Hey K100, I'm a huge fan of you guys. Best podcast I've listened to. My question is, when WWE at the time, 2006, I think, ECW One Night Stand, why WWE has not put WCW over like they try to do with ECW? The closest fans gotten was the WCW titles and a couple of arenas in WWE games. I would love to see WCW One Night only. What do you guys think? Should WWE do a tribute show for WCW? Bro, everybody's like 15, 60 years old now.
Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about? It's 20.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like way too late.
Who's gonna do it?
Right,
Blair, Nash can't wrestle. Luger can't wrestle. Sting is the only one, maybe. The Steiner.
He's 62 years old.
Now, would that have been cool to have one last Nitro or something? Like a few years later, like they did
15 years ago.
Sure, man. Of course it would have. And they had guys under contract, but it just, I think WCW's the brand was poisoned for Vince. He just didn't see it like he did ECW.